Hi, good afternoon, Vanessa. Nice seeing you. It is so inspiring to see you here. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Kenneth Gomes.
Wow, it's really awesome. You're 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, first of all, we want to thank you for accepting this invitation to be the first
Pleasure.
guest of our podcast.
Thank you so much. Pleasure. I mean, it is, I can't, I mean, it's so nice to look at both of you. Yeah. It's really
That's really
nice.
nice.
At 14, you've come up with this idea and not just idea, you've gone ahead, implemented it and you're going ahead with it. That's
Yes.
awesome. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so we would like to first request you to give our listeners a brief introduction of your journey from a Navy commander to an entrepreneur. So,
Okay. So I joined Navy way back in 95. I am from the fourth batch of women officers into Indian Navy. So I was a bit of rebel back then. So I wanted to do something different. None of my family members were in the Navy, and Indian Defense Forces had opened the gates for women officers. So I joined, and then I really, it's really a proud feeling, when you wear uniform, your mental setup really it gets reset.
yes,
So
absolutely.
and then I enjoyed my journey. I went on to top my professional courses as well, as a result of which Navy picked me for a project wherein we were installing radars at different naval air stations. So I completed that, and I also happened to be, my last mission was when I was sitting in the tower when 2611 happened. The commandos were getting winched down.
Oh, okay.
That was that was my last mission. And after that, in 2009, I left Navy. So after leaving, and because 14 years was what we could serve, I was from the first few batches, like I mentioned, and we were in the short service commission. So then thereafter, then what, having done 14 years in the Navy, suddenly want to take a leap to corporate world. So I did a management course from IIM Indore.
Okay.
From there, I was then for me, corporate world was corporate world. There was no sales, marketing, logistics, admin, HR. I really didn't know so many avenues. And I was not even particular about choosing a field. I just wanted to get into corporate, preferably sales and business development role, because I love meeting people. I love interacting with clients, So luckily there was this company called HNG Float Glass. They offered me a job in sales and business development in real estate, the facade glasses, and that's what they were into. So I joined that company, and then my corporate journey started. So I worked with companies like Schuco, Schindler, the elevator company, and DDI. So my corporate journey lasted for about 10 to 12 years.
Okay.
What had happened when I was in corporate was I happened to join a yoga class, like the way we would join any of us, just to do something about
Yeah.
myself and my health. And I happen to get an excellent instructor. So this is where I feel having a good mentor really plays a role. It really can turn your life completely. And he is so good. Like, he gave me, I actually thought yoga was boring. I could not sit for a session for more than 40 minutes. But the kind of asanas, he understood my my itch to really keep doing something, do something or extend myself. Or so he started giving me some so-called advanced asanas. So I said, oh my God, I'm not able to do these. Then it started, my interest grew.
Yeah.
And he's for a couple of competitions. So first competition I went to a district level competition, and to my own surprise, I won a silver medal. And then I went to a state and national level. So I'm an international gold medal winner in yoga. So all thanks to him. So then my interest grew. So when I was going to these yoga competitions, what I realized was, this is what I'm doing is very practical yoga, Then I said, if this is what yoga is, and then I used to have a severe backache. When I started doing these asanas, my backache completely got addressed. I mean, I don't even remember now which part of my back used to ache. Then should be something more to it than just doing asanas. So that's when I decided to really study yoga, go into depth. So I gave up my corporate, journey
Yeah.
and joined yoga. So I did 1 year of diploma in yoga, and then 1 more year of yoga therapy course. So now I'm a qualified yoga therapist. So I can curate yoga therapy for particular
Okay.
for issues. So that's what my journey has been like, and that's how I started Arogya Aishwarya.
Okay. That's really great. Really nice to know.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was really an inspiring journey for
Yes.
our listeners. So, our second question would be like, how did you come up with a name for your company, like Arogya Aishwarya? What does it signify?
Yeah, interesting question.
Yeah.
Actually, Arogya Aishwarya literally translates to health and wealth, So
Okay.
when I was looking for, naming this company, lot of names. So I thought I should make it really easy for people to remember and all that. Then I said, why not give it a name that signifies the entity, So these days, everything is in relation to money. When you say somebody is successful, you generally, the barometer
Yeah.
is how much you earn or what is the kind of, so
Yes.
I wanted to connect it to what your health really is. So I wanted to really tell them that first, tell everybody, and it is actually universally applicable. The moment you are healthy, your opportunity cost increases. The number of years you can work, number of years you can service the nation, or you can actually go there, put in, earn more bucks or make yourself successful. So it all increases. The first things first, start with your health. So that's where I said I have to have this health component. But then I also thought Arogya Aishwarya will, because I'm going to international clientele as well. Will they be able to pronounce? Will they be able to remember this name?
Yeah.
But then I said, that's fine, yeah. If they can remember Avatar, why not Arogya Aishwarya?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's how.
Okay.
So Arogya Aishwarya is a very unique name, and
Yes.
all of our
Yeah,
listeners will love it for
Yeah.
sure.
I hope so.
So, what advice would you like to share with Gen Z regarding startups and employment opportunities?
Again, a brilliant question. Yeah. See, my son is a Gen Z.
Okay.
So, Gen Zs it's a brilliant generation. Undoubtedly, they are like, uh, I think if I compare, myself or my next generation to Gen Z, you guys are really, far ahead in terms of your thinking, speed of thought, speed of execution, understanding the issue, or, but at the same time, Gen Z also has this impatience,
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
is because a lot of things keep happening the way things are these days. If you have to go from a place A to place B, you don't even think twice. You just go ahead and book ticket, and then you are door to door. You may take about 6 hours, 7 hours, whether you want to reach from Mumbai to Delhi or Calcutta within India. I'm talking about.
Yes.
Back in my generation, when I was growing up in 90s or something, flights were available, but like even before the aviation sector was open to civil what do you call, other than Air India, the other operators had come into picture. We used to look for train travel, so we had to plan well in advance, book the ticket 30 days or 60 days in advance, and it used to be a long drawn train journey, even if you're traveling first class or AC. So there was a lot of patience ingrained by the virtue of the way world was back then. But right now, Gen Z, things are instant. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
immediate
Just a tap and it's done.
Yes.
yeah. So my advice would be inculcate that patience a bit. While it is good to have speed, but
Yeah.
then that patience, that if it happens, it's well and good. If it doesn't happen, it's
Mhm.
okay. Maybe that's not for you. Maybe there is something more. Maybe there is something more you have to learn. So that's what I would advise Gen Z. And what is the other part of your question, Kellet? You had asked me.
Yeah. So it was regarding startups and employment opportunities.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what happens is, see, the startup has its own pros and cons, and employment opportunities have their own pros. So when you go for employment opportunity,
Mhm.
you get to learn a lot from lot of people around from different age group. When you go for employment, you have people in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s. So you interact with wide range of people. So you get to learn a lot from different people, and even if you're not client facing, even if you're not in the job in which you have to go out and meet those clients, even if you are in the desk job or office
Yeah.
job, there are so many people, so many departments you get to interact with. So the learning is immense. That is about the employment. About the startup, again, it is about your own, it's your game, your thought process. It's like your baby. So
Right.
it will go to a distance that you can take it to. So if you have that fire in you and you know exactly what to do, what is it that you're out to solve, what is it that you have to take your company to, go for a startup. So they both of these have pros and cons. So it's up to the individual to choose where to go and how to steer.
Yes. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, so I would like to ask you about how can individuals conquer procrastination and start taking action today?
Procrastination. So, in terms of health or in terms of
Yeah.
general, it's a very
No, especially when it comes to prioritizing their well-being and addressing
Yes.
health concerns.
okay when it comes to their well-being and health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example,
So,
sorry for interrupting. Just to give you an example. For example, any person they know that this is right, this is wrong. If I do this, this will happen. But we still will keep procrastinating. No,
Yeah.
no, we will start from tomorrow. From tomorrow. So how do we overcome this challenge?
yeah, like I said, you have to prioritize yourself. That is the first step, because this is something that your body and your mind needs. So the moment you prioritize yourself, that will happen. I know it's little difficult to push ourselves, like as an individual, as a human being, we really do a lot. Like if it comes to our brother or our parents or to our company, we probably get up, jump there and do that.
Yes.
And if it comes to us, maybe somewhere we feel, I'm not talking about health in this context, even for having a cup of coffee or making something, if we have to make something for ourselves, we may just say chodo yaar,
Yeah.
we'll do it later, or
Yeah.
we did to put it off. But if you have to get up and make that cup of coffee for your friend or for your parents
Yeah.
or some of your loved one, or even for your pet, you don't procrastinate it.
Yeah.
You just tend to do it, and you
Yeah.
do it with all your heart. You have to give yourself that kind of importance firstly, because it's a tool at the end of it. This body and mind, these are the things. It is you that will take yourself forward, that will propel you forward. So that is something, and I know it is very difficult at mental level to make that software correction.
Yeah.
But then how we can hack it is get to something that will have, suppose you enroll yourself for, say, a trek. So 2 months later I'll have to do that trek and I want to finish it. So you
Yes.
have something to look forward to, and your body has to be, you can't sleep and then just go to work, sleep, and then go and expect to go and do that trek or finish that trek.
Yeah.
You will have something to do at the back end. So you need to have these smaller goals, like trek ho gaya, or you want to run a marathon, say a 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer. You have to practice, right? So you need to have something for which you will have to really look for, take care of your body. If you think I will have to take care of my body because I want to live a healthy old age, that will not happen. That software correction will not happen. So you need to have these smaller goals. So similarly, like if you have, like in my case, whenever weather changes, my throat has an issue. So I keep telling myself, next season I don't want this to happen. So there is something that you do, and it's very, very, very simple practices. If you look at yoga or pranayama, they're very simple practice that can actually take care of your daily needs, and very simple practices. Even if you go for a run, you want to increase your lung capacity or you want to increase your muscle capacity, very, very, very simple practices that will really help you take that take that journey. So the time required is minimum and the impact or effect is maximum. So if you want to maximize your effort, then it's this is the way.
Yeah. Okay, so like how can Arogya Ashwarya assist us in initiating these positive changes in our life?
Yeah. So, see, Arogya Aishwarya, the reason why Arogya Aishwarya came into being is that I had seen this, you can say, gap, or you can say the need was not met in the market. Though there are innumerable yoga institutes, there are so many, so many people speaking about wellness. But at the end of it, if you look at oneself, like each of us is different owing to our genetics, our work culture, our sleeping patterns. Like both of you may have same genetics, but both of you are at the end of it, working in different atmospheres. So the external environment effect on you is different.
Yes.
Similarly, the way your diet may be different, so owing to a lot of things, our health at any given time, for being healthy, we require different interventions, firstly that. And secondly, the kind of time people have in hand is very, very little these days that they really spend on themselves. So Arogya Aishwarya addresses these two issues. Firstly, understanding the individual, that is individual health signature, where you are and what is your health goal, what is it you need to do, and what is it that is needed for you.
Yes.
And then curating that program to suit you specifically, depending on whatever time you have. You tell me, Madhvi, I have only 20 minutes in a day. I want to do, these are my health goals. Or I can give you 40 minutes a day. These are my health goals. So depending on the kind of time you can spend and depending on where you are, so we curate programs accordingly. We curate, and which also include, it's not just yoga, I include yoga, naturopathy, diet counseling,
Yes.
and physiology, understanding your physiology. So
These are all personalized according.
very personalized, and depending on the kind of time. Like it's not necessary every day morning you have to get up and 6 at 5 o'clock. If you can, that thing like it. But if you have, say, night, you have 10 o'clock in the night, that is the only time you have. I can give you a specialized instructor to teach you or to take you through at 10 o'clock in the night online. Or if you want offline, I can give you offline. So I have a network of instructors, thanks to my yoga therapy course and the kind of all these competitions that had been to. So I have a nice wide network of individuals, and they're supremely qualified and extremely knowledgeable. So create the session, and when we implement through online mode or offline. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question is, today's generation, most of them are struggling with mental health issues.
Yeah.
So, like, how has your perception of mental health evolved in recent times, and what would you like to advise this current generation?
Yeah, again, a very, very relevant question. Yeah, very, very relevant. See, mental health actually, we all are about, human being is about body and mind, right?
Yes.
And mental health has taken a different, what do you call? There has always been need of mental health, but then right now, fortunately or unfortunately, it has taken forefront, the center stage, because we are veering away from being in a social setup. Like man is, at the end of it, man is a social animal. Man, when I say man, it is human being. We are social animals. But then we are technology, as much as it is really giving us progress or advancements, it is also taking us away from the essence of being human being, essence of being in a community. When we were growing up, when I was growing up, we were taught in schools, or we were talked about joint family versus nuclear family.
Yes.
What are the advantages and disadvantages? Now we are not even talking about nuclear family. We are, even in nuclear family of three, mother, father, and son, all are in different directions. Even if they are staying in the same complex, they have their own spaces. They have their own. They are existing in different, isolated bounds. So that is where we are actually getting away from the essence of being a human. So that is where, that is where it is causing problems at the mind level. So how we need to address it is, again, there is actually, if you look at yoga as a science, it's a very ancient science, but it has lot of answers, at least so far. Whatever you want,
Yeah.
whatever issues you have, there is an answer. At least there is a direction, direction in the sense of guiding you towards your betterment or towards your health. So when you talk about mental health, of course, there is a lot to discuss about. Lot of studies have gone in. Uh, One thing is, you have to have that setup, which is practically, it is difficult. We can't operate going back to probably joint families, or being with the family, owing to a lot of things. And then thanks to the there are, again, we are talking to each other thanks to the technology, the online platform.
Yeah.
But then it also means that you can actually operate by yourself. You can be alone and then connect to the world, but then you're not in the proximity, physical proximity of the
Yeah.
of humans. So one is, you have to give yourself, again, that kind of time and energy wherein you interact with people, you interact with communities. You can make a reading club, you can make a your school club, or you can make a football club, whatever interests you. You need to make those small clusters of clubs and interact with people on weekly basis. It is a must for a human. Not on WhatsApp, not sending WhatsApp for and sharing. Yeah, it has to be a physical interaction, even if it is for half an hour. So that is number one. Number two, as far as keeping the mind, mental issue, a healthy mind is concerned, there's a very, very simple practice. They say that breath is the bridge between body and mind. So your body is very active, very agile, and your mind, you want the mind also to be equally agile, equally active. The simplest thing you should do is focus on your breath, which is nothing but pranayama. Pranayama is not something you have to breathe in, hold, breathe out. Of course, there is a process to it. There are certain pranayams, you go through that process. It gives you immense benefits. There are a lot of benefits, including your cardiovascular issues, settling your cardiovascular issues and all that. But then simple thing, just focus on your breath. Whenever you feel little agitated, stressed out, close your eyes, just full breathe in and breathe out. Take deep breaths. During the day, if you make it a practice to breathe deep, a lot of mental issues will get settled. You will be actually in sync with your body and mind. A very, very, very simple thing, and very, very, very easy to implement. But then we have to be mindful about it. Yeah. So, and also I would like to quote something from Harvard Medical School. They said, if your priority is health, because we are talking so much about health and health and mental issues, so if your priority, if you want to improve your life, if you want to sleep better, improve your immunity, being effective at your workplace, look no further than time tested process and method of yoga. This is not an Indian science that is saying this. This is not coming from an Indian. This comes from Harvard Medical School.
Yeah.
That is how effective
Yoga.
The yoga as a process is. We may consider it as a process. We need not even consider it as something that you need to really sit and do. And yoga just doesn't mean asanas. There are a lot of things to yoga.
Yeah. So that is what Arogya Aishwarya.
That is what
Yeah.
Aishwarya is all about. That is what we stand for, and that is the change that we would like to bring to the humanity. And again, like I said, there are a lot of pros. There are a lot of advantages of online. So I'm able to reach out to clients from Australia to US. We have clientele in different places because of this. Maybe 4 years back, when we thought of yoga, we only thought of offline mode, where you have to go spend that time and reach out. So now this has made it really possible to reach out to anywhere and at any time.
Yes, that's one thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what motivates you actually?
Yeah. So what motivates me is, it may sound like a cliche, but I really love to see a radiating smile on somebody's face. That really motivates. That is actually also the reason why I started this, why I started a venture, and why I'm working around wellness space. So it's simple. Like, even if I make a good cup of tea and people say, "Wow, lovely cup of tea," it just gives me. Yeah, I feel
That
really nice,
that
lively.
rush inside.
Yeah, yeah. I love to see that radiating smile. So if somebody is in pain, and then I give them some asana or some procedure to do, some pranayam, some breathing, and they do it and they tell me, wow, it's really relieving. I feel thrilled.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So I think this also answers the next question. Also, like, what is your favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur?
Yes, yes. My entrepreneurial journey is not about business. I mean, I have not started off thinking that I should, build a business empire, or anything like that. My reason of being an entrepreneur is putting those smiles on people's faces and telling them that there are very, very, very simple procedures. Like, when they said, "Do you own a car?" I'll not ask this question to Kellen because he is too young to own a car or drive. But do you own a car?
No, I don't even. I
Okay, but do you drive?
sorry.
Do you drive? Do you drive
No, no.
a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler? Okay, but your parents or somebody will
Yeah,
be
yeah,
owning,
yeah. I know.
right? Yeah, yeah. So you don't wait for the vehicle to really crank and stop and flame out, or engine running out or tires going flat. You don't wait for that to happen and take it to a mechanic, right?
Yeah.
What you do is you actually do that regular maintenance on your car.
Hmm.
And especially when the car is delivered, that guy tells you, first servicing at the end of 1 month or before it runs, say, 2000 kilometers, or second servicing at the end of 3 months,
Yes,
and
yes.
whichever comes earlier, actually. you
Yeah.
know that is how the car comes. So a vehicle or anything, so anything that you own today, materialistic, you have to have a continuous maintenance. So is your body. The body needs a continuous maintenance, which is what we miss. We actually, um, when we say wellness industry, we actually think about all those drugs, crocin, paracetamol, se leke, whatever, diabetic drugs. So that has become synonymous with wellness. They are
Yes.
doing excellent job at providing you, a curative care. Once your machine is done with, or it is giving you problems, they really jump in and try to recover, or try to, give you pacify, and give you some kind of maintenance. But then,
Yeah.
what is it that you have to do on regular basis so that you don't get there?
Hmm.
What is it that you need to do on daily basis, the preventive maintenance? That's where these procedures come in, and especially yoga, pranayama, or some kind of mindfulness, meditation is again not something that you have to really sit. A lot of people tell me, I can't meditate. But meditation is not just something, you have to sit and do nothing. Meditation, like, if a few people, when they run, you get into meditation mode, because your mind empties. You are in and now, you
Anything that
enjoy the
messes up your mind.
yeah, the moment you're mindful, that is meditation, and you give your best to it. Your body, every cell of your body comes alive, kicks into action, becomes healthy.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So there are a lot of aspects of yoga. Again, yoga, like I keep saying time and again, not just asanas. It starts with the way actually, if you look at Patanjali Yoga Sutra, that is very ancient yoga text. It starts with the way you behave with the community, and the way you behave with yourself. And then come, the third aspect of it is asana. Then you say Ashtanga Yoga, there are 8 aspects, 8 limbs. First is how you behave with the community, because community comes first. Man is a social animal. And then how you behave with yourself. You cleanse yourself of your mind, your thoughts, you physically, mentally. The third aspect is asana. Then comes pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. All that comes later. But so yoga is actually a practical way of life. It's the way to live.
Yeah.
That's what it describes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it was really insightful, all your answers and everything. was really very informational.
Thank you so much.
So all these were the questions that we had for you today, and yeah,
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. And it was really lovely meeting you both.
yes,
Uh, one more thing I just want to add, when we are talking about mental health, also like Gen Z, you talked about,
yeah,
okay, this is another thing that I want to, emphasize or highlight. What happens is because of the quick, a very sharp generation. You guys are very sharp generation, instant generation. So if something doesn't work or something doesn't go your way, or this is something, yeah, there is a tendency to have that setback
yes,
because you don't like failures, which
yes,
is good because you really strive hard, you want to succeed. But failures, unfortunately, is a intrinsic part of human life. Like, I'll tell you an example. There's an Air Force base. Again, fighter planes flying all across. Fighter planes are made for the pilots are trained to take those fighter planes and use them during war.
yes,
But
yes,
then, unfortunately, we have situations where we lose fighter aircrafts, we lose fighter pilots during the peaceful
yeah,
time, during the times of peace. So there's an Air Force base wherein, whenever there is an accident, whenever you lose a pilot, especially because it's a very close-knit community, the armed forces. So that pilot would be somebody whom you would have had dinner with the previous day, or you would have had breakfast with in the mess, and
yeah.
then said,
And the next
so
one,
it is such a setback, yeah. You can't believe that somebody so lively, so alive, he just took off on an aircraft, and so the thing that commandant used to do is that the next morning, whenever there would be a crash, the next morning he would be the CEO would be the first one to go and fly the aircraft, just to set that context that it's okay, we lost, but then this is the business that we are in, so every time you lose something, whatever, smallest of the small things to biggest of bigs, every time something happens, next day you have to get up, and get going and get to the
Exactly.
yes,
yes, yes. So that is something, that is what is life. And then, learn from whatever you can learn, and then propel yourself ahead,
yeah,
propel yourself ahead, get going. That is important.
that's really important. Thanks
Yes.
for this
Thank you
insight.
Do
so
not give failures too much of importance. Failures are a part of life, and you have to learn a lot from that. But
Absolutely.
nothing more than that. Failures are nothing more than that. We should not give them so much of importance. Rest, you guys are here to, I mean, it's very encouraging to see people like you take
Thank
on,
you so
Thank you
much.
so much. We're really honored. Thank you.
So, are there
yeah.
any questions that you would like to ask to us?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of questions, Khaled, but then what is it that drives you? I would like to know. At the age of 14, you decided, yes, this is what I want to do. So, what is it?
Yeah.
What is that? Yeah.
So, the moment you make a decision to become an entrepreneur, that came at a very early age to me.
Yeah.
So, I decided to do something, and I came up with growth with my sister.
Yeah.
So, we recognized some gaps in the industry, and
Mm-hmm.
we are striving to fill it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mitigate those
Wonderful.
challenges. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. So this is, one of the entrepreneurs told me. So I happened to meet him, a couple of years ago, and he told me, like, if at all you decide to be an entrepreneur, first thing you should see is your product or service or whatever,
Mm.
is filling the gap. Is there a gap in the market that you would pitch in and fill it? Only
Right.
then the market as an entrepreneur. And I think you started off on a wonderful note, on a very, very right
Thank you
note. So
so
all.
much.
Thank you so much.
So anything else, Vanessa and Kellet, wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
uh,
We will be in
uh,
touch.
Yes.
yeah, certainly, certainly.
Yeah.
And also, reach out to you to help me with my company's
Sure,
growth, and
sure. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
perfectly, perfectly. Yeah, yeah. Wonderful, awesome.
Yes. Okay, so thank you for this wonderful session. Thank you
Thank
for
you
your
so much.
time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was lovely meeting you, lovely
Yeah,
interacting with you.
absolutely.
Yes.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.